How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Long time no see, very long time. I apologize for that. But today just wanted to do a quick video on the things that I love about my 2022 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison with a Duramax. All right, so starting from the exterior here, I just like the way it looks. You know, I mean, the Colorado itself is not necessarily a great looking truck, and it's just, you know, the LTs and the LTZs and stuff. I think that the ZR2 package really just beefs it up. And honestly, there's things I like about the standard ZR2 better than the Bison edition. So, you know, this one, that front bumper, while being metal, it doesn't have the cutaway as much as the regular ZR2 bumper does. So I think the actual standard ZR2 looks a little, I don't know, tougher maybe, but obviously with that Bison bumper from AEV, it is definitely a more robust bumper, that's for sure. And so obviously that is one of the things that I love about the truck is metal bumpers. Definitely gives you a lot of confidence, you know, knowing that if you do accidentally bump into a tree or something here and there, it's not gonna damage. If anything, it's just gonna scuff a little paint. So I do like that package. Any ZR2 will come with the rock sliders, which I really haven't put to use myself yet, but it is nice having them there. Sometimes I kind of wish that it was a step. My daughter has a little bit of trouble getting in and out of the truck still, but because it's really tough to use that for a step. It's more slippery than anything. But other than that, it's nice having the confidence of knowing that you're not going to damage your rockers, you know, if you do happen to go over a log or a large boulder. And then of course on the back end of the truck, you do have metal as well. The tires that come on the truck are 265 17s, and I mean, they're not giant tires or anything, but they're a good tire. It's the Wrangler Duratrack, and so far I've really liked the tire. Dirt, mud, snow, all that kind of stuff, it seems to do really well. Icy roads it doesn't do so well on, but honestly most tires are gonna kind of suck on ice unless you have studs. The wheels that come on the AEV, I don't necessarily think they're that much better than the regular ZR2, but what I do like about them is that they're different. You know, there's quite a few ZR2s rolling around the road now. It's nice to have one that looks a little bit different from the others. Real quick, I do want to say that I'm in North Dakota and the wind never stops blowing, so if it is a little bit bad audio, I apologize. About a year ago I sold most of my decent camera equipment and trying to get it all back together, so hopefully in the next couple of months I'll be back to shooting on my mirrorless camera versus my cell phone with I'll have a shotgun mic and all that good stuff, so the audio quality will get better again. Just been super busy and, you know, haven't been making any videos, but I've recently, you know, kind of got the itch, I guess, to start making some videos again. So hopefully this summer I'll be bringing you quite a bit more content, not only on trucks and off-roading, but, you know, my standard gear reviews and EDC hunting stuff as well. So this truck does have the Duramax diesel. So another thing that I do like about this pickup is the fact that the fuel economy is pretty good. Depending on how fast you're driving, it will be anywhere from 20 to 35 miles to the gallon. I think my average is low 20s just from being in town and stuff, but yeah, if you drive it around 55 mile an hour, you can get some really impressive fuel economy out of it. So obviously at this point, everyone knows that the ZR2 does come with the Multimatic spool valve shocks, and honestly, I think that they're decent. I wouldn't say that they're amazing. Definitely better than like a Z71 would have, but I mean, they're nothing, I would say, just super high tech in my opinion. The faster you go, the better they seem to do. So in my opinion, they're more of like a Baja shock versus like a crawling around shock. One last thing to note before we move to the interior is that Bison package does come with a lot of skids and stuff underneath, which I have put to use. They're super handy. I mean, I'm not sure how And one final thought on the diesel. While it's not, I would say, super peppy on the high end, on the low end and crawling around and slow speed stuff, it's super good. For low, you can really just let it kind of creep around and do its thing, and it crawls really well without any input from the throttle. And as we move on to the inside, I do want to say that I've not detailed this truck in any way, shape, or form, but I feel that to give a true testimonial, I want to leave everything exactly as I have it every single day that I drive it. That way you know that I'm not just saying this stuff. I mean, I do use this truck. I've got a little over 8,000 miles on it, and I feel like at this point I can give a pretty good idea of what to expect and what not to expect. So first thing, the AEV seats are super nice. They're comfortable, they're easy to clean, which is good because of having the kids and everything. It's nice to have a seat that you can just kind of wipe up. So the AEV seats are awesome. I don't know a lot about the regular ZR2 seats. They feel like a similar seat, just a different stitching or cover or something. So I'm sure that those would be super comfortable as well. But it is nice with a pickup, you know, that is designed to be off-road and get a little dirty, to have seats that are easy to clean up. So I do want to say that the Bose audio system that this pickup has is really nice, especially for this size of a truck. It's not a, you know, what I would say a premium sound. It gets plenty loud and has a decent bass. Don't expect, you know, hard hitting bass or anything like you would with an actual decent size sub or anything. But for the size of the pickup it is, it sounds really good actually, and it would be an upgrade that I would definitely recommend. I would say my favorite thing about the pickup is the fact that it has the front and rear lockers there. I didn't realize how big of a difference that would make, but man, it honestly turns this thing into quite a little billy goat. Even like in the snow and stuff this past winter, going over pretty decent snow drifts and everything, we're kind of playing around with it and going from just standard four-wheel drive to having the rear lock to having the front locked as well. And I mean, when all four are locked, it's amazing, you know, what it will go through compared to just the standard four-wheel drive. So I mean, it's, you know, compared to most vehicles on the market, it's a huge upgrade as far as the four-wheel drive system goes. The last thing that I'll comment on is going to be a positive for me, and it could potentially be a negative for others, but it's going to be the size of the pickup. I think that for my purposes, I like the size of it. I am going to be doing some stuff to upgrade storage, I think. But I really think that I like the size of the mid-size truck, coming from a full size for quite some time. The mid-size, it's just so nice, especially when you're in town and stuff and need to just whip into some, you know, narrow parking spots and stuff like that. Even going down smaller Forest Service roads and trails, it's just nice to be, you know, in that smaller footprint. That being said, the legroom is not a ton, obviously. It does feel roomier than a Tacoma, and I've seen like the specs and everything that say, you know, that it's super close, but just sitting in it, it feels roomier, I will say. But again, I'm 5'9", my wife's 5'9". We have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, so it's not a big deal at all to us. But if you're a family of larger people, might not be the best option. Would definitely recommend, you know, trying it before buying it. Lastly, we're going to put this decked bed box in the video for the things that I love, even though there's a little bit of a love-hate with it. But ultimately, it is nice to add some water-resistant storage to the truck. I say water-resistant because if it's a downpour, stuff will get wet, so don't put, you know, you're still going to want dry boxes in there if you have stuff that's, you know, sensitive to water. But I will say that ultimately I do like having it. It's nice to, you know, I'll throw, like, if we're going up to like my parents for the weekend or something, we'll throw our bags in there. And it's nice because there's not a ton of room obviously up front, so you know, you get some backpacks and duffel bags and everything setting up front, and all of a sudden you're pretty jammed in there. And this is enough to hold all that. It's also nice. I've used it for like groceries and stuff like that. It's pretty good for that. large grocery haul, it's not going to work for, but for, you know, just your, you know, weekly run, it'll work. That being said, it does take up a lot of space there for just not a ton of room. I just always find myself wanting to be able to fit more in there, and I just can't. So I do think it might be one of those situations where if you took the time to build a homemade box, I don't know, it might be a decent option. You know, I think you're not going to get the robustness of the deck. Probably not even be able to get as good of a water seal unless you're really good at making it or whatever. But I do think that you'd be able to use more of the bed space and use more of the actual box if you build your own. But as of right now, as far as a pre-fit option, I don't know that there is any other. So if anyone knows of any, let me know. But I guess the only other negative is that, you know, the bed's not super deep, so you don't have a ton on there. Probably would be a pretty good option to have in conjunction with a topper or a bed rack. Alright, so there you have it. That is my video on everything that I love about my 2022 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison with Duramax. Obviously, you know the next video coming, and that's going to be everything I hate about it. And while it's a lot of nitpicky stuff, there is, I would say, a lot. There is a lot of nitpicky stuff. But I feel like it should be made because, you know, it's not a cheap truck. So you're going to spend that much money, you want to know what you're getting, and stay tuned for that one.